Hello everyone, how y'all doing? So today, I kind of want to give you a bit of an update on life, which is in my quest to collect as much anime Blu-rays as I can. I do realize that eventually I will sort of reach a bottleneck where I'm not really going to be able to collect that much just because I don't really have enough space in my room. I may have to consider the possibility that I might need to sell some things that I don't need in my room, which could maybe also include games that I don't play and I don't see myself playing. I'm not sure. Space management might be a bit of an issue, but at least for the time being, I do still feel like I have some space to steadily collect Blu-rays. I think I'm going to initially start off with stuff that I would say that I care largely, and one of them, for example, is Durarara, which is a series that I consider to be one of my favorites, if not my favorite anime of all time. And I did buy the first season. That's the one that I decided to go with. And it's also, frankly speaking, the easiest one to get. And honestly, I'll get into that in a minute. But there is one other reason for why I decided to actually buy the Durarara Blu-ray. And I do first need to explain how I even watched this series in the first place. So, this would have been years ago, obviously. Like, this is a fairly old series, but when I originally watched Durarara, more specifically the first season, let's just say I didn't watch it from an official website. That is as far as I'm gonna say without YouTube, not really liking the vibes of my video. But I will say one thing though. If we're specifically talking about Durarara X2, I did actually watch all three of them on Crunchyroll. I did actually watch it officially. But the first season, I wasn't really able to do so, and I assume it might. I mean, I did look up online, and presumably the first season was available on Funimation, but at the time I didn't really have Funimation because, well, Funimation wasn't really available globally, more specifically in Portugal, so I didn't really have much of a choice. But eventually, when Crunchyroll and Funimation did merge, eventually I do believe I was able to have access to all seasons, at least if I had a VPN enabled. But nowadays, if I actually try to find Durarara, like if I open Crunchyroll right now, actually this might be a bad idea. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it for one specific reason because I have VPN enabled, and the thing about VPN is that I don't want Crunchyroll to like trigger a logout because it detected that I'm in a different region or something like that. But let's type Crunchyroll Durarara. And we have here, and then there's even a page, a dedicated page for Durarara. But if I click on it, it's just not here. Like there are no episodes. Meanwhile, if I click, I don't know, what's a series that I know for a fact is on Crunchyroll? Let's assume Windbreaker. You can see episodes here, but for some reason, as far as Durarara, it's not here anymore. And I know it did used to be here. It's just gone. And if I am to believe this website, then I have to subscribe to either Hulu or Disney Plus. I'm not subscribing to either of these services. I'm sorry. If the only way for me to watch Durarara legally is by subscribing to other streaming services that I don't care about, at that point, I might as well just buy it physically. Now, obviously, there are other ways you can watch it, but I think Durarara is a series that I care enough that I'm willing to purchase a physical copy of it. Now, the first season, it was funny because I think the one I got was this one. Like I'm actually fairly certain that it was actually this specific art, this specific item on Amazon. It fairly matches the cover that I have. Maybe I'll share a picture later. But one thing about Amazon, one of the main reasons for why I enabled the VPN was because for starters, I just wanted to be sure if Durara was actually legitimately not available on Crunchyroll, even if I changed the region to United States. But the other thing about Amazon, and this is something that I've had issues in the past where if you open the website, it'll just detect your region and postal code. So if I'm recording a video, it'll just plaster the postal code of my location, which is insane. I don't like that. I don't like that about Amazon. So I had to enable a VPN just to protect my location. Now the thing is, season 1 of Durarara is not that hard to find. Here you have Blu-ray, $32, not that big of a deal. But what if I wanted to get X2? This is where things get a little bit complicated because, for example, let's go with show. So show here, if I click this link, for Blu-ray, it's $269. Honestly, I don't even know if this is accurate, because the last time I checked, this thing wasn't even available at all. Or maybe it was available. Oh, no, wait. No, actually, oh, this is part 2. Interesting. So this is interesting because this wasn't actually available the last time I checked. The last time I checked, the only ones that were actually available were, I fairly certain show was, but it wasn't this amount. But if I try to get, like, for example, this one, you would either get no listings and was only available as a DVD, but though nowadays it seems like it's the opposite. This is quite, actually, wait, let me check. This is 10. Because the funny thing is, I tried looking for 10 on Amazon. I just wasn't able to find it. It was to the point where I had to go to another website to buy it, but like, it seems like it's here. This is interesting. Honestly, had I known this, I probably would have just waited a little bit longer. What about Durarara Ketsu? Is Ketsu only still available on DVD? Most likely. Yeah, it's still mostly just available as a DVD. Huh, this is a very interesting discovery. It wasn't like this before. Now, if you go to CD Japan, because CD Japan is another website that I also like visiting to buy physical media, and here it's actually even worse. Like, it's actually way worse. Like, if I open the website and let's type do-da-da-da. So the only one that I think is kind of worth it is this one, which is the Durarara Blu-ray disc box. Now, the thing is, one thing I do encourage you to double check whenever you look at these listings is that whenever you see a listing that says completed series, always make sure to check the date, because a lot of the times it might not actually be the full complete series. Because, for example, this was released in 2012. Show 10 and Ketsu were not available back then. And so when it says, you know, a complete series, it's only really referring to season 1. Though, of course, it does also come included with some other stuff. Like, for example, I think it has some, like, music or something like that. This is the only one that I would maybe consider. And even then, it's like a massive consideration because look at this price. $223 just for this box set. You know, I still think it's pretty tempting, but that's an excessive amount. Meanwhile, if I go with X2, for the most part, you're only really going to find volume. And hang on, let's go with anime and Blu-ray. If I go with X2, for the most part, you're only really going to see volumes of it, meaning that you're buying a Blu-ray that only really has like what, 2 or 3 episodes, and look at how much you're paying, $36. Like, let's use this example. You're getting Durarara X2 Ketsu, and it's volume 3, and we check the content that's here, and it'll say it only has like episodes 29 and 30. So 2 episodes in total that you're buying. Yes, it does come with a special CD, a sticker, colored booklet, illustrated card, and jacket. Oh, actually, a jacket? Really? Do I even believe this? But whatever. It does come with some merch. Like, I'm not saying this is like a horrible deal, but I'm just being honest with you. When I'm thinking of $36, I only just want the entire series. Like, all of this merch, it's cool, it's nice to collect, but I really only want the Blu-ray. That's the only thing I care about. And you're charging me $36 just for 2 episodes. Meanwhile, there's this listing. Well, this is the DVD, but like there's, where is it? Let's delete this. Meanwhile, there's this complete series of season 1 Blu-ray that's $32, and yes, it's only the disc. It doesn't really come with anything additional, but that's the only thing I want. That's the only thing I want. And so, yeah, I don't know. Like, you kind of have to decide for yourself whether or not it's worth it. This is the only thing that I would maybe consider buying. And even then, at this point, it's pretty much too late because I've already bought season 1. And so, at this point, I would just be buying duplicate content. And while granted, this is pretty nice looking. These are nice looking images. This would actually seem like something that would be really cool to collect, but at the same time, like, paying $200 is a little bit steep. But yeah, anyway. Well, actually, while we're still here, there is something I do kind of want to test. So I'm going to open Make MKV. So just let the program load all of the video files. I don't know. We don't need to export all of them. I just need one, like this one, for example. Yeah, actually, yeah, you can. Yeah, sure, you can do it. All right, so it's done recording. So let's actually get to the video file, which should be right here. So here's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna copy this, and now I'm gonna have to copy it to the shared folder from my NAS device. Now I'm gonna have to hide my screen here because, you know, I am someone who's very in favor of officially obtaining things legally. I do not condone piracy in any way whatsoever, and so I definitely do not have archives of both games and anime on my NAS device, because I would never do that, because that would 100% not be okay under YouTube's terms and conditions. Just want to make that clear. So anyway, so let me just double check that this video is actually working as intended. Okay, so yeah, this is just a normal episode, and I have no audio. All right, this is the Japanese. Yeah, it's definitely the Japanese, so should have the subtitles. Let me just double check. Is the subtitles actually working? Yep, this is the part where it say you came to see someone, and I just found him. All right. This is working as intended. All right, now it's time to connect my tablet to this goddamn computer. So, hang on, let me just zoom in a little bit here. So, SCRCPY. All right, now it's connected. Oh, what did I do? Oh, gosh darn it. I accidentally closed the screen. Thank God it actually hides the actual pin so that when it casts here, it doesn't actually show up. Hang on. Can I put this in full screen? No, I cannot. Oh, well, you're just gonna have to make do with what we have. Hang on. Where's the fucking app? There it is. So open this. Get more. Open in MPV. All right, so okay, so my keyboard does actually work. Thank you. 32. It's pretty decent bitrate. I mean, assuming that this is actually being streamed. I mean, from what I can tell here, I think it does align actually. Because I always wonder, like, when I'm streaming this through the NAS to MPV, could there be some regression in the quality? I always just kind of assume that it does happen, but like, I don't know. Maybe it doesn't. Yeah, I guess honestly, you know, if you do end up dumping footage to your computer, then yeah, at that point, also save it to your NAS device and just stream it everywhere. That's probably what I'm kind of considering doing. I will have to check the space because, like, I think the NAS is only like a few, like what, 4 or 5 terabytes if I'm not mistaken, maybe even less than that. So I mean, certainly for this, like, I mean, one episode would be like what, 5 gigabytes? That's not really worth it. Like, that's not really all that worth it. Like, it really has to be something that you absolutely have to watch it with the maximum bit rate. For anime, you don't really need it. Yeah, anyway, I think that's really all I wanted to share. It's pretty fun.